Hello, beautifully inspired humans. In this video, we're going to talk about aliens. So you can unclench your ass cheeks because we're not going to do any anal probing here. Well, maybe just a tip. Wait, what? Well, America, you let me down. You let me down big time because if you don't remember, back in September of 2019, all of America was supposed to storm Area 51 in order to find the truth about aliens. And finally, once in my life, I was a little bit happy that humanity was kind of moving forward, and it was very quite entertaining to have all of these people demand the truth about extraterrestrials. So in this video, what I want to do, because nobody stormed Area 51, is to bring you the truth. Well, maybe not so much the truth, but the truth to a lot of people in regards to aliens. So what is the story that all of these ancient theorists are going crazy over and making so many TV shows about? To understand the story of what these ancient alien theorists are saying, we have to go all the way back in time to ancient Sumeria. And we're going to go back to ancient Sumeria because this is the oldest record of civilization known to date. And the Sumerians wrote on these large clay tablets of the origins of humanity, and as well as the origins of the earth and the heavens and so forth. Now, the ancient Sumerians in these clay tablets are dated around 3,200 years BCE, but what's actually written on these clay tablets is said to be a lot older than that, like 500,000 years that these events kind of taken place. So what's written on these ancient Sumerian tablets is quite interesting because it explains how there is a 10th planet within our solar system. And if you look at this picture, you can see that this kind of looks like the galaxy, the Milky Way. And in the middle is the sun, which is so accurately depicted. And if you include the moon, that leaves one extra celestial body. Now, the ancient Sumerian texts say that this extra celestial body is called Nibiru, or modern day people call Planet X. But anyway, this extra celestial planet, or Nibiru, is said to where the gods or the extraterrestrials come from. And the reason we don't know about Nibiru now is because it only orbits Earth every 3,600 years. And it's said that its next orbit is like 100, 150 years, or maybe even sooner. It's really unclear. However, there are modern astronomers that actually believe that another planet exists. However, we really don't have any solid evidence right now that it does exist, but according to this story, it does exist. So during one of the transits of Nibiru, when it was close to Earth, there was this extraterrestrial species known as the Annunaki that came to Earth to set up a civilization or to mine for gold. The real reason why these extraterrestrials came to Earth is a little bit unclear, but we know that they came to Earth, and there were about 7 of them, and there were these 7 extraterrestrials, and they lived thousands of years, and they're smart. These are the extraterrestrials that taught humans all of the mathematics and the irrigation systems and so forth. But the thing is that when the extraterrestrials, the Anunnaki, the reptilians, whatever, first came to Earth, there was no humans here. So they created the humans by mixing the caveman DNA, because there were that type of human, but not intelligent humans. So they took the caveman DNA, and they also took their DNA, and they mixed them together and created this worker species. So this could explain why everyone has that reptilian part of their brain. I don't know. But anyway, they created the first Homo sapiens. And the Homo sapiens and the first humans were pretty much, like I said before, this worker race. And these are the people that were said to be called Adamu, which in Hebrew is Adam, which is like the first man, translated from these ancient Sumerian texts. And we were kept in a garden, and we just did all the planting, all the building, all of the worker stuff. And each one of these 7 extraterrestrials had their own place here in the Middle East, and their own species working for them, and everybody worshipped them. They were gods. And the pyramids with the flat tops were where they were actually worshipped at. So the story goes on to say that some of these gods began to breed with humans, and this is actually the creation of the Nephilim. And some of these gods were not so happy that some of these other gods were interbreeding with the humans. During one of Newberry's transit, whenever it came close to Earth, there was also a lot of atmospheric changes. So some people interpret that this atmospheric changes that led to this great flood was actually caused by the gods, or that it was actually just, a natural phenomena that actually happened. However, it was during this flood that most of the extraterrestrials or the gods decided to go back to their homeland, to Nibiru. However, before they left Earth or they went underground or before they came off the scene, they made sure that their race, the race that they bred with, had secret knowledge of how to control the rest of the slave species, of the rest of the humans that didn't have this unique bloodline of extraterrestrials with them, in them. So here we are at this story where, the extraterrestrials or the gods leave Earth. However, there is this specific bloodline that has this secret knowledge of how to control the masses and how to continue rule. So these are the rulers, the politicians that you see throughout humanity. And the people that belong to the secret society or the Illuminati, or the people that are actually working behind the scenes, are considered to be, the extraterrestrials, or have these extraterrestrial bloodlines within them. So what's really interesting and kind of unfortunate is that the people that are working behind the scenes, or that are in power, are actually practicing satanic rituals and human trafficking and human sacrifice. And it is believed that these people are actually sacrificing, children, and then drinking their blood, because there's like an endorphin or some kind of something that is secreted in the blood when you are dying in fear. So this is why, if you've ever heard that the Illuminati or the elite or the people working behind the scenes are exposing fear to people, is because they actually feed off of this fear. So if the story of ancient Sumeria is true, and we're going to believe that extraterrestrials came from another planet and created our human species because they had that technology, and their bloodline still remains because they're in control of the media and the government and the money, then we have to really take into account to what some whistleblowers are saying. And these whistleblowers are people that have worked in deep military programs and deep government programs, or have had contact with extraterrestrials themselves. And they're pretty much saying the same thing, that there are many different alien species or extraterrestrial species that are in contact with worldly governments. What's interesting is that these whistleblowers are saying that the origins of humanity, and actually how the DNA mixing occurred, is in Antarctica. And this information is going to soon surface, because as Antarctica is melting, it's beginning to show that there are actually pyramids there. And who knows what's really going to happen if this information actually does come out. But it is said that there's a lot going on in Antarctica. And not only is there this evidence that of extraterrestrials and the origins of humanity in Antarctica, it's also said that this is a opening to Middle Earth, where there is another alien species that lives in the middle of the Earth. Whether or not you believe that there are extraterrestrials in the middle of the Earth, or that there are extraterrestrials or watchers guiding humanity through outer space, there is one thing that you can count on, and that's the conclusion that a lot of people and whistleblowers and researchers are saying, and that is that humanity is moving toward a new era or a new dimension, and that is that no longer Earth and the humans on Earth are going to be stuck in this third dimension, but we're also going to be moving into dimensions like the fourth and the fifth dimensions. And what that really means is that we are no longer going to be controlled by this reptilian species, or this really evil extraterrestrial race. We're going to be responsible for our own progression through humanity. That is, if we can come together and stop living in war and killing each other. Because if we can't get past this notion of accepting everybody for who they are, well, then we're always going to have this interference of an extraterrestrial race, or this influence of extraterrestrials, in order to keep our species alive and that we don't kill ourselves. But who knows how long these extraterrestrials are willing to intervene with humanity. Anyway, if you're interested in learning more about extraterrestrials, or you want to learn more about some ancient technologies such as underground portals or the Watchers, or even time travel itself, comment down below and I can definitely make more videos about that. Anyway, guys, this was my brief explanation of what the extraterrestrial community is saying in regards to extraterrestrials and aliens. So if you're thinking about storming Area 51, you probably don't have to. You can just communicate with extraterrestrials if you really wanted to. However, you have to increase your consciousness. And if you want to know more about that, I can make a video about that. And I told you and I promised there's no anal probing going on here. So until next time, guys, bye. Aliens. Can't do it. So this is where my infrared. So this is where my infrared. So this is where my infrared. Can't say that. So in our solar system, there is a planet called Nerebu. If the president came on TV and said, hey, there's extraterrestrials.
To establish a space force as the sixth branch of the armed forces. That's a big statement.